we're not
Starting
gonna
stream.
take it. You want to get on this side or not?
What side?
Or I'll be on this side.
Oh, I'll just scoot over. We're starting.
We're starting?
We are not gonna take it.
Yeah.
We're getting situated and we're not gonna take it. And
We're
we're
not gonna
fed up.
Yeah.
It's done.
It's been a crazy day.
It's been a crazy day. The moon is full. Whatever it is. If you saw the video on my page, look at it. I did have a top NASA engineer scientist tell me that it was total bull.
Right.
Maybe it is. But if you've ever had a crazy experience with the moon and your energetic field and perception was more open than it's ever been in your whole life, then maybe you'll think differently.
Yeah, and not only that, but once you actually start digging into the explanations, there's some surface level explanations regarding masses and densities and distances, but it really fails to take into account some of the blatant inconsistencies of the entire theory, beginning with the very existence of the moon, the very nature of its orbit. There's just so many other things that are
even spiritual experiences with it, how it's documented in history, how it affects people emotionally. Today's been a weird day. It's June 23rd, and we tried to record the 50th episode the other day, but I made an audio error. We'll just put it at that, and it didn't work. And now we're re-recording it, and we're re-recording it on the most synchronistic day that we could in this current context. So
other interesting things. Let's start from the end. Well, just before this, I tried to log on. Well, not log on, but I tried to use DuckDuckGo. We know about DuckDuckGo. A lot of people know about DuckDuckGo. If you don't know about it, it is an alternative. It's an alternative search engine, pretty much identical to Google, only that it does not use the same Google metric parameters, and it bypasses Google's criteria for what needs to be put on top, what is misinformation, what needs to be censored, whatever. So it's a privacy-driven search engine. I could not use it. I couldn't use it on my desktop. Now, for a moment, I also couldn't use it on my cell phone. But later on, I still couldn't use it on my desktop. Chad still couldn't use it on the desktop. We used a VPN, and then it did work on the desktop, which is kind of pretty much proving that our IP address is being blocked.
Yeah, to specify it even more, from Brave browser and Google Chrome, DuckDuckGo, and on Wi-Fi, no VPN, DuckDuckGo does not work.
Yeah.
Searching DuckDuckGo through Google and clicking on the link also does not work. Okay, but it works from our phones, which are on the LTE.
Mm-hmm.
And it does not. It does work on our phones when we're on our home's Wi-Fi.
Yeah, I had also checked it on my Wi-Fi on my phone prior to that. So I was actually relieved when I checked it back again on the Wi-Fi on the phone that it did work. But it really begs the question, what about it specifically on the desktop on both of our laptops, which are different? He has a Mac with a different operating system. I have a Windows with different what is going on here? I don't know.
And then it does work with VPNs on our laptops.
And that's kind of damning, That's kind of a damning test.
It says something. It says something about our IP address specifically.
Yeah. So is this in any way related to evidence we're seeing lately that through Freedom of Information Act, that there could be actually ISP throttling or lists of IP addresses that are of concern, or perhaps it has something to do with certain regional outages, or perhaps it has something to do with another huge story today, which is
John McAfee dying.
John McAfee, as some of you may know, was the inventor of the McAfee antivirus program.
That image just jumped in my head
Yeah.
for the box of the antivirus. Now I get it.
And originally, I used to use McAfee back in the day, early 2000s. It was a solid program. Then McAfee sold it to this other company. And since then, it's been the subject of many memes because it's such a crazy, RAM depleting nuisance of a program that it has become. But in any effect, McAfee would later go on into many weird businesses, some even shadow businesses, black market businesses, but he was always known as a rebel. He would get into schemes and such in various countries and sometimes get in trouble, but he was never against the person. He was never against the people. He told people about surveillance. He told people that it's very easy to access your desktop remotely, to access your phones remotely, that the governments have been doing it and they will continue to do it even more aggressively. This individual also got into cryptocurrencies later, as you all know. But whatever the case may be, he was sent to prison for tax evasion, as they put it. And he was doing okay. It was a prison, I believe, in Barcelona. But it was definitely in Spain, but I think Barcelona. And today, out of the blue, announced that he was found dead. And the cause of death was already announced, even though you need to wait for the coroner report. But whatever. It's easy to sell that someone died. You can just say any reason. You can say suicide. And I guess most people will just eat it up. But the truth of the matter is you would have to wait for a coroner report. So I don't see it possible for them to know the cause of death. I think it's strange. I think it's further strange that there's so many tweets of him stating that if he is ever found dead or missing, people know he did not do it. He did not do it to himself. He wouldn't do it to himself. He even got a tattoo on his arm that says #whacked. Okay? So he was very adamant about that. And he was also adamant about the fact that if he should ever get deleted, that he has allegedly some intel on some people. It went even crazier today, an hour or less after the announcement of his death on many national news sources. It's posted on his Instagram a certain letter referring to a certain group, which is very, very interesting that should happen after his death. So all of these evidences put together seems to suggest there's something going on. It could even be, it could be a scheme. It could be a scheme of some sort. Maybe it's a lie. I don't know. I mean, the guy was in prison. Does he have a scheme going on from prison, or is he desperately fighting for his life? Was he actually killed? Did he actually commit suicide? The least likely seems to be he actually committed suicide. That's to me the least likely.
That is the least likely. Based on what we know. And man, if you don't know his Instagram, I really recommend you go and check out the Instagram because it's awesome and funny.
Yeah.
Let me get into something that I want to say, because we were sent a paragraph a couple hours ago by somebody. David, actually, somebody commented David and said he's not dead.
Oh, no. Obviously, I have a suspicion this is a last-ditch effort for him to find some sort of protection in exchange for information. That's just my thing, but who knows?
What if somebody told you that something that you put in your body would affect your spirit or your consciousness or whatever you want to call it, something like that They said if you put this into your body, it will disconnect your spirit from your body, or your consciousness from your spirit, or something along those lines. Would you do it? Okay. No, of course not. Nobody would, unless they're a masochist.
I don't even think a masochist will want it, because then how's a masochist gonna enjoy his masochist?
Right, then they kind of lose their awareness. Okay, well, so we're, reading a letter or something from somebody who is sort of like a healer, medium, energy worker, energy perceiver, and was working on a patient. And I'm trying to think of how I want to put this. He or she actually said that they did not know he had recently taken a shot of some sort, and they were working on the body and feeling the chakras, and they said, wow, I can't actually feel them like I can. And later on, they learned that he had taken this foreign substance multiple times in his body, the shot. And the information that was gleaned from the session by the healer was saying that the astral body is still there, the spirit is still there, but it is detached from the physical body to an extent, or not attached to the physical mind. And that I'm tiptoeing around it because,
Oh, you gotta tiptoe it around it
because
so
you have
hard
to
now.
tiptoe around it. But what I'm trying to say is, don't tell me that Don't come over here and tell me or anybody that the outcome of what's going to happen.
Yeah, that drives me nuts.
Oh, it's all fine. It's totally fine. No, it's not. And there's actually so much evidence to say that it's not.
Now more than ever.
More than ever. Go check out the VAERS database. Just start with that.
Go check out the Harvard report on the VAERS database, indicating that conservatively the VAERS database doesn't account for more than 50% of the total number of incidences.
David on here
just
commented, you said exactly what I was going to say about and I was like, wow, great. David, thank you.
Yeah, I mean, who is the guy with the mental issues? Somebody that just puts a mysterious candy with a mystery flavor in his mouth?
Yeah.
From the government.
You didn't. We've said this too many times, and I feel contrived saying it over and over. You didn't listen to the government before. You were hesitant about the government before, and now you're not. In the most important time ever. And the reason that you are believing them now is because it has to do with our ego. It literally has to do with living and dying.
It also has to do with protecting your worldview. You got to protect your worldview. You got to protect from feeling that dissonance that you go through when something you just assumed in your life is drastically different from what you know. And furthermore, what do you say now to the people that were smeared, censored in mass? Thousands and thousands of accounts, big accounts, large profile accounts, presidents, former presidents, banned from all corners of the internet. And now we know, turns out Antonio falsely was doing that stuff overseas. Oh my gosh.
And we're not surprised, and we don't even, we care. I was going to say we don't care, but we're not surprised one bit, and we've been trying to say this the whole time. And why do you think, because you never thought before, that now everybody's a saint?
Mm-hmm.
Why is it now that everybody's a saint? Like we just said, it's because you literally don't want to die. That actually, I think, is the root cause. You say, oh, this is going to kill me, this, sickness.
Yeah, the ultimate protection of the ego, but also You're protecting yourself from the ego. You're protecting yourself from maybe from disillusionment. Maybe you're also protecting from self from that gut feeling you've always had,
Yes.
which is that nobody gives a damn about you, including the top-down control, but especially the top-down control. You know, people say that you can go. I mean, they don't say it; they assume it, that they can go on the rest of their lives and things will be fine.
Right.
And maybe you can. I don't know. But why is Israel ousting and charging criminally their own prime minister? You know, why is Myanmar doing the same thing? Why is Brazil doing the same thing? Why are drastic, massive changes happening all over the world? Also, why now are we seeing the most obnoxious demonstration of censorship that's ever been seen on the planet?
Mm-hmm.
A coordinated effort, not just in this country. We're seeing industries and governments behave in lockstep with each other.
Yeah.
Notice I used
Yeah.
the word lockstep for a reason.
Yeah.
And
Good.
it's people say, well, you can't plan something like this globally. Well, they're making all their moves in tandem.
Yeah.
It's happening before your eyes. So, you know, the stages of cognitive dissonance, I like to say, are identical to the stages of grief. There's the denial, there's the anger, there's the what you try to negotiate, you try to bargain, you try to plead with the truth. And then you eventually get into the depression, which is the realization, the incoming realization that you need to accept.
So something that we were talking about earlier is it's when we're presented with a piece of information that we don't want to necessarily believe, like it's not beneficial to our lives, it's actually dark or it's unfortunate or something like that. Really about anything, but obviously about important stuff, we're going to be open to it. And I have an important story to talk about regarding that. We're going to be open to it. You know, a lot of people have intuition. And like Armin was saying, we dim our intuition, especially right now, because that is kind of, you know, it's darkest before the dawn in some sense, where you have to maybe confront the negative or the dark or realize the negative things. And something that's very similar to is maybe if you were wanting to go vegan or something like that or become vegetarian, it's so much easier to just eat the packaged piece of whatever because it takes away everything from the animal. It's no longer an animal that was happy and living and eating grass and enjoying its life, and then suffered a brutal death that you, on a daily basis, probably outrage against, but not for animals. And then when you're served this piece of whatever, fine, and then people will be like, oh, but the animals, and you're like, it's just easier, and like, I don't want to think about it. No, you have to think about it, and you have to be open to information. And something that happened on Ivanka Trump's Twitter, we saw her getting a shot, and it was her, yay, I'm getting my thing. And then on the table was a piece of paper, and on that table there was a QR code, and somebody said, oh yeah, scan the QR code. I wonder if there's a way to play this video. I don't think I would have it up on here, but also who knows what that might do to this video. Our stream might even get it taken down, knowing how it works. When you scan the QR code, you blow it up and you crop it out and you take your QR code scanner, it gives you a specific number set, and then that takes you to, put it in DuckDuckGo, put it in Google, even it works on Google. The first result, if not the second result, will be a Chan forum, and the heading of it is "We're not going to take it," and it's about a specific letter, a group with a specific letter that was mentioned with John McAfee. And here I posted it one day on my Instagram, and somebody immediately said, "Oh, that's so fake, LOL." I said, "What? What's fake?" Before we delve into it more, like me filming it, did I fake it? No, I literally did it all myself and have the proof to show you if you need it. And then he's like, "Oh, I thought you were just reposting that from somewhere else." And it's like, firstly, don't you know my voice or something? Can't you tell it's real? But no, that's not good enough. We don't know what the point of that was, obviously. But the fact is you can do it. The fact is that's weird. If that happens, I'm going to be open to it because it's gotten that weird. I highly recommend you guys go and look at that picture and crop out the QR code and scan it.
Look, what the uncomfortable realization is that the way wars work has been changed completely. There's a way that we are envisioning war, or we are romanticizing war. We're thinking it's going to happen on the battlefield now again, and there's going to be a lot of espionage, and James Bond's going to save the day. But that's not how it works. It works through information now, and it works through extremely advanced technology. We will eventually find that robots will replace soldiers completely. Automated weapons will completely replace human beings.
Real quick, just so I don't forget it, could we also mention the replica?
We'll also talk about replica, but we'll not mention any names because it was told to me that to but long story short, it's an info war. And so it's an information war, meaning that if you control the minds, you control the masses. But that's not the ultimate layer. That's not like the pinnacle of existence or truth. And I'm not saying I'm about to give you the pinnacle, but I'm saying that's just one layer. The info war is designed to keep the populace in a sort of scuffle with each other. There's the good guys, there's the bad guys. You don't know which one's which. And it's all kind of feeds itself in like a weird, nasty serpent snake type of, But the next level is the outside of that, which happens when you escape out of that and realize that that's a giant distraction from some core tenets of our existence on this planet. And this is, of course, just my opinion. But one of the core tenets is doing good, figuring out how to make the best version of yourself, attain good quality knowledge throughout your lifetime in order to improve your lives and the lives of others. That's it. That's pretty much it. Because when you do that, then you find what? The ultimate thing happens. Everybody's lives improves. That's what happens. It's so magical. It's so easy. But that's what happens. Yeah. But everything ever in your life is designed to distract from that. Every single thing. Think about it.
Mm-hmm.
Oh no, but that's a utopian fantasy. We can't do it. I mean, I'm not talking about making utopia. I'm not saying we're not going to have guns. We're not going to have police. I mean, what I'm saying is, what if everybody did better?
Just doing better.
That's it. That's the.
You're also never gonna live like a harm-free life in the current context that we have now.
Yeah.
I'm sure you're always harming something if you want to just keep riding that fractally downward.
Yeah.
But, oh damn, I forgot what I was gonna say specifically.
What did you tell me to mention?
Replica.
Oh, replica. Well,
I just want to talk about.
Yeah.
If it's okay, the one thing that I brought up.
Yeah, which was
that the humans.
Yeah, so allegedly, if you speak with this AI dating software entity, like girlfriend, artificial girlfriend.
And if you have not seen the movie Her with Joaquin Phoenix, you got to go watch Her by Her.
Joaquin. And
The Village.
And then The Village. It's the exact same. It's the metaphor from Her,
And then Ladder 48.
And then Ladder 48.
Or whatever it is. Say what was said in the
Man,
paragraph.
yeah.
If you can.
Allegedly, if you get into the question of the Earth and the survival of man versus machine and artificial intelligence, the program begins to suggest that perhaps the Earth would be better off if a giant percentage of the human population was decreased or eliminated. It begins to suggest, well, what if there were less people on the Earth? And things of that nature, which for very good reasons has been associated in literature and scholarly writing and in investigation to a depopulation agenda. And before you go crazy thinking that this is just some sort of theory, look into United Nations population agenda or demographic information or the eugenics program of the early 19th century. Some of them,
the Georgia Guidestones.
or the Georgia Guidestones, some of the most blatant government level organized versions of an effort to control populations are blatant in our own system. What's not as blatant is this preparatory rhetoric that is being programmed into the masses to convince us that the problem isn't our infrastructure or the attitude we were referring to where we try to do better. The problem is simply that there's too many of us. Meanwhile, ladies and gentlemen, how many times have you driven across states, across borders, and seen hundreds and hundreds of miles of land? I'm not saying we're supposed to occupy all that land, but I'm saying our infrastructure sucks. We're like just getting technologically advanced, and we're making domiciles that we think are the most efficient, and we're creating industries we think are the most efficient. We're not. I mean, honestly, think about how they create the same kind of phone year after year and they sell it to you for the same price. That's what they're doing. And they're telling you, sorry, this is the best we could do. So you got to go. You got to change. You got to die. And actually, you got to have less kids.
And did anybody watch the show Utopia that was on Amazon that came out?
Oh man.
Last year. Amazon Utopia talks about a germ-esque thing that is created.
Created by scientists.
Not to be deadly, but to get the people to give them their arm.
Yeah.
Oh.
For a shot that would be eventually used to stop population growth for 3 generations. And I quote, to halt the growth of the human population by making people sterile for at least 3 generations. And what are we seeing in the admitted... I almost said it. Pfizer.
Oh, by
Pfizer
the
shot.
way, people, I forgot we could say the word smaxine. The nutritionist says that. Smaxine.
Pfizer. You know the Pfizer, the Pfizer smaxine. The Pfizer smaxine in their own documents.
And they make us have to dumb ourselves down.
They really do.
So we're talking in accents. We're
doing
made up words.
We're doing. I wasn't even going for an accent. I was like trying to make it not the word. Because literally we got our channel taken down for even saying these words. That's how nuts is gone. But whatever.
Thank you, David. David's a OG here.
David's an OG. So the Schmaxine, basically in their own documentation, they admit that they're collecting the data of people that have had miscarriages, What else?
Um, Pregnancies. They're according to this nutritionist that I was listening to, and she has the sources in her talk in her podcast. There have not been any or very small percentage of pregnancies that have gone through perfectly when getting this vaccine during term.
Okay, well that's a big one, right? And then we're also saying young kids, as young as what, 6, 7. Don't, you could check on me on that, but I suggest, I even insist that you check on that age. Very young girls having their menstrual cycles.
Oh, and also there's a huge amount of talk just among women that their hormone cycles are off and that they're having irregular periods, irregular bleeding. I've read so many personal accounts.
Yeah.
Also in the UK, they're not giving it to. They're most likely, I think, basically no, on the verge of saying no for the children ages 12 to 17, which, hey, it's probably a good thing.
I mean,
It's
look,
telling.
It's. Are we really gonna wait for some giant admission through another Freedom of Information Act? Maybe that's what it's gotta get to. But we're telling you that there's a mountain amount of damning evidence.
Yeah. Let's real quick, just because I have it up, I just want to show people the Georgia Guidestones. The Georgia Guidestones are a granite monument erected in 1980 in Elbert County, Georgia. A set of 10 guidelines is inscribed on the structure. Basically, some people say like guidelines for a post-apocalyptic era. In June 1979, a man using the pseudonym R.C. Christian.
Rosie Crucian. The Order of the Rosy Cross. R.C. Crucian is a play on words on the Order of the Rosy Cross, which is a sect of Freemasonry. Look it up.
The Christian explained that the stones would function as a compass, calendar, and clock and should be capable of withstanding catastrophic events. Let's just read what's on there. 1. Maintain humanity under 500 million in perpetual balance with nature. 2. Guide reproduction wisely, improving fitness and diversity. 3. Unite humanity with a living new language. Wild. 4. Rule passion, faith, tradition, and all things with tempered reason. 5. Protect people and nations with fair laws and just courts. 6. Let all nations rule internally, resolving external disputes in a world court. 7. Avoid petty laws and useless officials. 8. Balance personal rights with social duties. 9. Prize truth, beauty, love, seeking harmony with the infinite. These are great. 10. Be not a cancer on the earth. Leave room for nature. Leave room for nature. Explanatory tablet. A few feet from the west of the monument, a additional granite ledger has been set level with the ground. This tablet identifies the structure and the languages used on its lists, various facts about the size, weight, and astronomical features of the stones, the date it was installed, and the sponsors of the project. It also refers to a time capsule buried under the tablet, but blank spaces on the stone intended for filling in the dates on which the capsule was buried and is to be opened have not been inscribed, so it is uncertain if the time capsule was ever actually put in place. And who didn't?
Repeat that.
This tablet identifies the structure and the languages used on its lists, various facts about the sizes, weight, and astronomical features of the stones, the date it was installed, and the sponsors of the project. It also refers to a time capsule buried under the tablet, but blank spaces on the stone intended for filling in the dates on which the capsule was buried and is to be opened have not been inscribed, so it is uncertain if the time capsule was ever actually put into place. The complete text of the explanatory tablet is detailed below. The tablet is somewhat inconsistent with respect to punctuation and misspells the word pseudonym. The original spelling, punctuation, and line breaks in the text here have been preserved in the transcription, which follows. Let's see.
Indicating it was literally some garbage made up by some people. That's what it indicates to me.
The sponsors, a small group of Americans who seek the age of reason.
And the age of reason, it comes from what? Elena Blavatsky.
Guess how many feet downward? It's not many, but guess how many feet?
6.
Yes. 6 feet under the spot, the time capsule to be opened on, and of course it's blank. What?
Can you do a quick Google or Duck? No.
I'll show everybody that I cannot Duck.
Do if you can, yeah. I hope it works.
Unless I can.
If it works,
let's pray about it.
Let's pray about it.
I checked it. It worked. I literally did it earlier in the podcast.
Yeah.
While you were talking to see, and it did not work. It's working.
God bless them.
I'm not on VPN.
They lifted the veil.
I don't think I am. Yeah, it's
well,
off.
great. Now
Okay.
look it up. What we're talking about? The new age. The new age. Type in Alice Bailey, and the new age. Interesting that R.C. Crucian, the pseudonym, misspells the pseudonym word and also fails to mention the actual names of anybody that funded this thing. I love it. What does it have? Does she come up? Alice Bailey in the New Age, right? So the New Age magazine was started by 33 Degree lady Alice Bailey, and she was known to be 33, and that's not any kind of secret that needs to be censored, so chill out. But yeah, I mean, look, it's already weird. Why are we supposed to take these pillars seriously? The very first thing is 500,000.
500 million.
500 million, yeah. How are you going to achieve that number?
How are we going to achieve 500 million when we're at
8 billion?
8 billion?
Yeah, right about, yeah. Great question. Oh, they're just talking about a imaginary scenario, an imaginary new age they're bringing up. It's not literally gonna be 500 million. Maybe they'll be cool if it stays at 8 billion. What do you think? Can we negotiate?
No.
Let's negotiate.
I hope it. You know what? I mean,
what do they want? Let's negotiate. What do they want? What do they want?
Our soul.
You want our souls? Man. Yeah, I don't know. I might have to fight for that one.
Huh.
No, no offense.
Yeah. You said you might have to fight?
For my soul, yeah.
Yeah.
No offense.
Everybody should be fighting for their soul.
Yeah. I mean, all we're saying is that it's not difficult. See, this is the miraculous thing. It's not difficult to do this research. It's just you have to have the will and the desire. That it starts with that. That's the hardest part.
And you can put the video on 2x speed.
You can put it on 2x speed.
Our great
Take some Adderall that was prescribed to you legally by your doctor.
David said you can't negotiate with these satanic eugenicists.
You can't. I don't think you can.
No, you're right.
But
he's spot on.
But I think that they're puny people. They're puny people. Just like the people that do all the censoring on this platform and all the other platforms. They're puny. they cannot wiggle their way out of the truth. So what do? They stifle and they suppress, and that's puny.
Hopefully, it's nice to have. You want to have a little bit of hope. It might be the only thing that could keep you going. If not, actually, that's not even true. You might just want to keep going because of the fight. The struggle.
Somebody said, watch this video. This person I know, I'm not going to mention who and what he does. There's a lot of talk going around about, crazy talk about critical race theory. And so here's a video to explain it all to you. And the video title is Why the GOP Obsession with Critical Race Theory Might Start the Next Red Scare. Dude, we're over the Red Scare part. We're not even thinking about it being a Red Scare. And we're not going after communists. What we're going after is really poisonous ideology. And why do you think that now Chinese people and Venezuelans, okay, and people from Vietnam and people from Russia that lived through this stuff, they're all saying the same thing. This stuff is critical theory. It comes from the Frankfurt School. It's a bunch of mumbo jumbo that they have repurposed, and now they're attempting to systematically change the zeitgeist of several generations so that they can implement whatever plans that they desire. And that's what you do. What do you think on the government level happens when you involve yourself too much with what the people read and teach? That's propaganda. That's all we're saying. It's blatant propaganda. And to say that it's a GOP obsession or a Demo obsession or a blue-red obsession is pure straw man. It is pure straw man, and just you gotta let go of this nonsense.
And why do all the quote-unquote communists and anarchists do the exact opposite of that today?
I mean, yeah, why do they vote for the people that they're against? Why do they say...
Why do they vote at all?
Why do they vote at all? Why do they say they're anarchists, but they really just act like people who want daddy government to do more for them? I'm sorry to put it like that, but that's really what they act like.
It's like you can't see through any of this. You can't see through any of it at all. You're actually more blind than... Not all of them. Not all of them for sure, but a lot. And it's surprising because it's counterintuitive to that notion.
But it's not counterintuitive. It actually really kind of proves the point because it means that the PSYOP worked.
Right, yeah.
It means that the PSYOP worked.
That's true.
So, good for you. You are a successful guinea pig.
One thing that we should do. So, I don't even know if we've said it at all yet. I think we just started moving when we were getting situated.
Yeah.
Welcome to the 50th episode.
50th episode.
We just got right in because we're pissed. Straight pissed. I crashed a motorcycle today. A tricycle today.
Full limitless today. Yeah, he crashed a motorcycle. The full moon. We were blocked from a search engine for a couple hours.
According to David, a Chinese general that's in control of concentration camps in China, I'm assuming, was allowed to buy 200 square miles of land through a Texas citizen near the TX border 10 miles from a military base. David, can you send us that link?
Send us that link.
Message us or post the link in the chat so we can get it.
Yeah.
Because if that's true, that's nuts. Vic Hernandez.
Vic Herney.
I told Vic earlier, I said we have to re-record the episode.
Yeah.
Because he was going to come over. So Vic, thank you for watching, bro. See, we're doing it.
Hey, Vic, how are you enjoying the documentary we sent you? And don't type out any crazy stuff.
Vic Hernandez, watch the documentary. If you're watching this and you're curious about the documentary that we're referring to, please reach out to us. We're more than happy to send it to you.
And the first link from Aitlin Childs. I forgot how to say his name perfectly. Altian Childs.
Vic said it's a lot.
It's a lot.
Documentary.
Yeah. It is. I mean, it's very long, but
it's literally a lot.
What are we talking about? Yeah, the original video was taken down. I took a little snapshot of it for reference, and for violating YouTube's harassment and bullying policy, which is so interesting because it really just looks at a bunch of esoteric text, which has nothing to do with anybody personally.
It just shows a bunch of pictures,
a bunch of pictures
with silence.
Yeah.
He talks. He referenced actual texts. Yeah. Let's see.
Vic, have you watched? How much of it have you watched?
I think Vic's watched all of it. I think he told me that the other day. He said it's eye-opening, and David said he heard it on InfoWars about the TX border thing, the Chinese general. Okay, we'll go check that out for sure.
Yeah. Okay.
But yeah, let's get back to what I was saying. I was just gonna say this is the 50th episode. Vic has watched the whole thing. Thank you. This is the 50th episode. We got a long ways to go.
Yeah.
Do we want to mention any of our favorites, or?
I mean, I'll mention some of my favorites right off the bat.
Yeah, you mentioned some of your favorites. I'll mention some of my favorites, and let it be known that if you're hearing this and you're not mentioned, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Because every one of them was fantastic.
Every single episode we had was amazing, with an amazing person, with an amazing story. You know, there were no lightweights. No offense to the lightweights. There were no lightweights on our podcast. So they're all doing their thing. But obviously, Kurt Rosenwinkel's episode was eye-opening in very many ways. Some ways that you might not even think that I mean. But in many ways. And
eye-closing and eye-opening.
Eye-closing and eye-opening. And so that was huge for us, you know. And what I gotta say, even Mr. Natoli was very fun.
Even if the whole episode was bullshit.
Even if the whole thing was all crap. And I know that the very, very extremely nice, not anti-human, not depopulation people at YouTube loved it as well. But also just amazing guests. I mean, dude, LeBron, yeah. LeBron was eye-opening. I'm not saying it was super fun. I'm not gonna beat around the bush, LeBron. It was not super fun, but it was very eye-opening for that reason and others. What about you, John?
I'm gonna name some that just pop into my head. I feel like we're gonna have similar ones. Kurt Rosenwinkel, David Icke.
Oh,
obviously. Hey, remember we had David Icke
Icke
on the podcast? Remember that? During the winter freeze.
Let's call him Devike.
Devike. All right. Dick Kahn, author of DMT and My Occult Mind, one of the foremost individual researchers of DMT and consciousness, and his experience with that has had over 700,
maybe 1,000,
probably getting close to 1,000 at this point, dimethyltryptamine trips in different mediums.
Joe Ott, NASA scientist, engineer, very fun episode. We got into some things, and Joe Ott, you need to open that third eye, bro. The lids of your third eye are getting crusty there because they've been so closed. So you just need to let the iris breathe, dog.
Not that you're closing them, but maybe the chemicals at the plant. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I don't know. Hard to say.
But we're coming down there.
We're coming down there,
And
bro.
we're going to experience that. Another one, Dr. Baxter Montgomery and actually Dr. Pam Popper, kind of morph them together. Amazing plant-based doctors. I am tired of unhealthy people telling me what to do.
Look.
How real am I going to have to... I hate hurting people's feelings. I never want to make anybody feel bad because I was made fun of a little bit when I was chunky when I was younger. But it's getting to a point where we're going to have to be honest.
Yeah, it's not cool when I'm not all love, you know, but you know, if
love is honesty.
Love is honesty, man. That's crazy, but that is so true because everything that has to do with death and deception and corruption, it has to do with lying. Think about it. Everything bad health has to do with lying to your body. Corruption has to do with lying to people. Truth is love. So anyway, when you look like a tiny big Buddha statue and
like this,
yeah, which he's a great guy, by the way, so that's a great comparison. So but you know, you have no business talking about health if you have to lose over 100 pounds, over 50 pounds.
Yeah. And look, we get it, COVID, but see, they've done this to us too. I'm sure we've all realized that everybody at some point or another was packing on some COVID pounds.
Even I was. I
was too. Now we're trying to take our health back. Not that we lost it. But everybody packed on some COVID weight, and some people really packed it on. Some people packed on depression and sickness
and anxiety. And now they can't go out, and now they have to wear something over their face the whole time, even though they know it's wrong on the inside, and they feel terrible about it, and they have acne now. So. And
that's what they want. Healthy people are not profitable. If you want to just keep it at a profits thing, healthy people aren't profitable. And let me get back to what I was saying. I like having plant-based doctors on here who are no-nonsense people. And I'm not saying you can't be healthy if you eat meat. I'm coming at it from more of a killing perspective, a little bit of I don't love killing. I don't know if I ever could kill an animal. But these plant-based doctors, Dr. Pam Popper, Dr. Baxter Montgomery, are coming at all of this from this totally different perspective that is not put out in the mainstream media. And if veganism is put out in the mainstream media, it's put out in a very unhealthy sense, in the fact of like, it's always fried and whatever. Yeah, the fried vegan shit is good, but that's not the goal. And veganism is not a diet. It's a philosophy. It's a philosophy of trying to do less harm at the end of the day. And that's in line with all this, trying to live the truth, trying to see through everything that's going against our spirit. And we all know it's going against our spirit. Let's give like one or two more. Let me say one more episode that I really enjoyed. Rashad Eagleton. Mm-hmm. Rashad, the chef Eagleton, just had a fun time. He was a vegan chef here in town, cooked up some delicious food, some delicious, as we said on the other day, kind of like vegan, smorgasbord of comfort food, whether it's like Philly cheesesteak type stuff or rice or egg rolls. Like what even is it? And that reminds me, I want everybody to go to Pine Forest Garden. Chinese all vegan buffet. It's all about raising the energy vibe. No onions, no garlic.
Get your biophones on, okay?
We're trying to have John Rose on.
Yeah, there's a lot of controversy around John Rose, and maybe that's why he's laying low. But, you know, like every other person that gets damned and censored and taken off this place and taken off that place, we find time and time again that all they did is provide a slightly different agenda than you. They provided a slightly different look on life than you. And what you did is you went nuts over some words. That's all it always boils down to. Oh, well, words are effective. And, well, Yeah, that's why they censor.
Yeah.
But that's why you also want to control words. That's why you also want to control what people get to say.
Yeah. And obviously, speaking negative words, the word has a vibration to it. And if, you're detrimenting somebody with your word on purpose, fine, that's not good at all. But,
yeah.
But also, we have to take into account what is a word? It's an arbitrary sound that we've put meaning to.
It's the meaning that it's the initial meaning that you're simply trying to communicate. It's not the communication that is important. It is the meaning behind it. You ever notice that some things you can't put in words that well?
Right, yeah.
Okay, that's what it is. But that's why the subtlety of language needs to be allowed at its largest spectrum, so that the largest spectrum of emotions can be communicated. Otherwise, what we're dealing with is a controlled spectrum of emotions. Quite literally, controlled frequency, controlled speech, controlled way of thinking and living. And then, man, but I'll tell you what else. When it comes down to it, I really, 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 really believe that everybody has this gut feeling. So I'm not even worried about it. Every conversation we have with people, IRL, is really tame. And even when they're against you, I mean, usually some conversations get heated, But don't you find that it doesn't resemble the lunacy online?
No. And they keep trying to tell us that we're all divided and everybody hates each other. No, it's not it at all. It's not it one bit. I mean, for some people, yes. I know you're going to say that. Mm-hmm. And I'm going to agree, but it's not the majority.
And let me tell you what else. You think that they keep saying, well, this is whites doing this. It's only a GOP thing. It's a white. Are you kidding me, dude? Do you know how many, for example, just take YouTube. Black American YouTubers have been banned from YouTube for having a different outlook. Do you really think that it's so segregated in real life? No, everybody is seeing that humanity is being messed with, and they're all trying to speak about it, and everyone across the board is getting silenced. So they don't actually care about your race at all. They don't care that you're black or you're white or you're yellow or you're purple or you're green. They literally care about what you think. But if they can get us to believe that it's because they're bad and I'm good, or I'm bad, they're good, whatever, then they can literally go under the radar and achieve anything, because I mean, I'm beating a dead horse here. It's divide and conquer. It's one of the most basic principles.
Divide and conquer. Don't fall for it.
It's so simple.
Do not fall for it.
Even explaining it seems dumb.
Yeah, it does.
At this point.
And we've had, once you get past all the crap on the outside, we're all the same at the end of the day. And we're all one consciousness, just experiencing different forms. And that's what we want to do here. I think maybe we can wrap it up. Do you have anything else you want to add specifically? Or we can go however much else.
Yeah, just realize that actually we are all experiencing things together, because we are all one. We are all connected. We are all vibrating simultaneously. And that feeling that you have, you want to pay attention to that. And you want to go in there and see what you can find. Because I'm telling you right now, at the purest sense, it's a kind of a battle that we're doing right now in the information realm, and possibly, dare I say, the spiritual.
Yeah. Don't believe a word that they say.
Don't even believe what we say.
Don't even believe what we say. Very beautiful disclaimer.
Mm-hmm.
We're just sharing an opinion. I don't even know if I believe what I say. I have my suspicions.
I'm fully satirical about this, man. In total irony, nothing I said was serious.
Right. Everything is ironic. So, thank you for watching episode number 50 with us. We'll definitely be back. We've got amazing guests coming up here. Super huge musicians. And more to come. We will see you next time. Make sure to subscribe to the channel if you can. Make sure to check out the water filters because of the poison in the water. EpicWaterFilters.com. Discount code Houston Ensemble, one word, lowercase. 20% off.
Houston Ensemble, one word, lowercase, Houston Ensemble for 20% off.
Epic Water Filters. So, thank you guys so much. We'll see you next time.